This is the all-new Emotiva XB2. I just got them out of the box yesterday. I had to do an initial impressions as soon as I spent a little bit of time with them. So grab a cup of coffee and let's talk about the new Emotiva XB2s.
Back in that bag again. Whoa, yeah. Hey. Back in that, yeah. Tell them to watch it. Now I ain't talking my pockets. Just know we ain't running out the way that we stock it. If I got it, you got it. If I call it, she sliding. Tell her to mop it. Yeah, I got that doing. Then she took that thing off and bring it around. Going at it till I'm on. Put that 90 in a hole.
I was so excited when I got the Emotiva delivery. I was a little freaked out because I looked on the front porch and there wasn't anything there. But I figured, that's not right. Usually UPS is really good. So then I walked outside and they were all right underneath my garage. So I received the XB2, which is the new 6-inch bookshelf speakers. I also got the XT1 floor standards. I haven't even opened those up. But sometimes I let things sit in the box for a long time. Other times things get in and I literally tear them open like a kid on Christmas morning. And that was the case with the new Emotiva XB2s, because the Emotiva, the B1 Plus, the B2 Plus were really the speaker that I felt kind of got me into high-end audio. And I know some people would be like, Emotiva is not high-end audio. For me it is, because there's one thing that they give you in spades, and that is clarity. I think as audiophiles, it's that pilgrimage for clarity. It's the pilgrimage for soundstage that really separates kind of meh products to incredible products. And some of you say, well, Randy's just an Emotiva shill. He's completely biased when it comes to Emotiva. And yes, I am. Why wouldn't I be? Every product that I've reviewed of theirs has been incredible. It's also been an incredible value. And I like the company. I like the people that work at the company. So why wouldn't I be biased? They've got a proven track record. They're one of the biggest values in hi-fi. And I like the people. And they're continuing to bring out new and better products all of the time. Why wouldn't I love them? The new XB2 for a pair is $499. Now you do save 15% off if you buy 2 or more Airmotive loudspeakers. So I guess if you buy this and the center channel, you get 15% off the whole thing. $499 I think is a fair price. Actually, when the B2 Plus came out, I think they were released at $499 and then almost immediately they went up to $550. This was at the end of all the craziness that happened, and I think shipping prices were just through the roof. Anyway, these are $499 and that's before any discounts, which I think is a fair price. We have a two-way bookshelf loudspeaker painted HDF baffle. And HDF is something that they've made their most current subwoofers out of. Better than MDF. I couldn't tell you why, but it is. So anyway, they're made out of HDF. A 25mm baffle. I think 25 millimeters is about an inch. Hey Siri, how many inches is 25 millimeters? 0.98 inches, so a 0.98 inch front baffle. If you're looking at the backs of these, they don't look a ton different from the BT Plus. Pretty much almost identical. There's a few little differences, but they look very similar. 1 6-inch woven cone diaphragm, aluminum voice coil, long throw motor, progressive spider, copper short ring, and NBR surround. And I did notice, I think there's a bit of a different surround. It looks about the same size, but it seemed a bit beefier than the one on the B2 Plus. Bi-amp, bi-wireable binding posts on the back. 86 dB sensitive. I think the previous ones were 85. Anyway, you're gonna need a little bit of juice on these. 4 ohm nominal impedance. 12.8 inches high, 8.5 inches wide, 11.5 inches deep. They weigh 18 pounds, 39 pounds boxed. You know what's funny? Is legit every bookshelf speaker weighs 39 pounds boxed. I think it's some type of hi-fi industry conspiracy, because I was boxing up all of these bookshelf speakers from a whole bunch of different manufacturers, all 39 pounds. There's got to be some weird cutoff for 39 pounds. So the entire lineup has been revamped. You have the XA2, which is a height surround speaker, XB2, which is what we're going to talk about today. XC1 center speaker comes in at $400. Then you have an XC2 center channel speaker coming in at $600. A monstrous XC3 center channel coming in at $900. XT1 floor standards, that's $999 for a pair. I have a pair of those, so we'll be reviewing those or talking about them. I wouldn't say that any of my videos are reviews. I talk about speakers, tell you what I think, how they sound. I'm not going to tell you if they're good for you or not. XT2 floor standards, they come in at $1,300 a pair, and then the big ones, the XT3s, come in at $19.99 a pair. Oh, I forgot to tell you the frequency response of the bookshelves. They reportedly go from 55 hertz up to 27 hertz. 55 hertz is a fairly conservative rating, so I would probably say that yes, they do hit 55 hertz. I put them in pure direct mode. I was running them off of the Pioneer VSX-LX305. That could be the wrong model number. Anyway, I'm going to link it in the description because it's a crazy price right now. I think they're getting ready to bring out a new receiver that's going to replace that one, because that thing used to be $1,200 or $1,300. Right now it's on sale for around $850. So I will link the Pioneer. It's got a ton of options, has DRAC, actually sounds pretty good for music for a home theater receiver. Let's talk about initial impressions. So the frequency response on the BT2s, the previous generation, was down to 40. So we have 55 on the new, 40 on the old. I will talk to Emotiva and see what differences are going on with the woofer and why the previous generation had such a low-end frequency roll-off. It's very interesting. The new ones are also heavier, and I don't know if that's the HDF or what. Generally, if you have a heavier speaker in the same size, then it's going to be denser, going to have less cabinet resonance. We'll find out. When I get into the comparisons, I'm going to compare the XB2 to the BT Plus. I'll compare those two so that we'll have a better idea if, well, should I upgrade or should it stay the same? I'll also compare a bunch of other speakers. But at $500, the Emotiva is well priced within its category because it's going up against things like the Polk R100, really the Polk R200, which comes in quite a bit more. It's going up against the entire Klipsch R line. It's going to be a really interesting comparison. All right, first impressions. Well, it sounds like an Emotiva speaker. I put on just a variety of music, and again, the first thing that jumped out at me was the clarity on the top end. I had these towed in at me. I don't think you need to tow them in at you. I think you can have them pointed directly out into the room because there is so much detail on display. The other thing that shocked me about these was their ability to soundstage. I know it's cliche. I had to go check to see if the center channel was connected, but I had to go check to see if the center channel was connected because it was throwing such a perfect center image, and it was throwing stuff wide too. So I was watching Your Honor, which is a really good show. It has Bryan Cranston in it. He's a judge, and then something bad happens. Then he has to fix things. Lots of twists and turns. So I was in the kitchen doing something last night before I went to bed, and there was a honk on the show, and I legit thought that someone was honking at me, and I'm like, how did someone get a car in my neighbor's backyard? No, it was on the show. And generally speaking, there's so much drop off in the kitchen compared to when I'm sitting right over there listening and watching television. Probably the best lateral sound staging speakers I've ever had in the living room. Amazing. AC/DC Shoot to Thrill Ultra Crunch. Actually, that's a good name for it. Sith Audio Ultra Crunch cereal. It's a great name for a cereal. Ultra Crunch. Audiophile Ultra Crunch cereal. There it is. Sith Audio's Audiophile Ultra Crunch cereal. Yep. Anyway, AC/DC coming in from the right. It was amazing. Killing Strangers. Again, I felt like I had 5 speakers going on. Now, I have a very symmetrical room in here, except for on the left side. Left side's open to like a eating area. But for whatever reason, These things were just throwing stuff all over the room. This reminds me of my first experience with the ELAC debut B, whatever the first generation Andrew Jones, the 6.5-inch version of the first generation Andrew Jones, was throwing stuff all over the place. These remind me of that. If you have a good enough recording or mix on TV and movies, you don't need a center channel. And I mean, you don't need a center channel. I have never heard something with this level of clarity that sounds actually natural. It felt like there was a center speaker in front of where the speakers were at. The height of the soundstage was also very impressive. I don't know if they did anything different with the tweeter on this one, but the previous generation, the vertical off-axis performance of the tweeter, you know, wasn't that great because, you know, the way that's designed, and it's a folded ribbon, AMT tweeter, whatever you want to call it. I felt that vertical soundstage was really incredible, and it could be just the way that Your Honor it's just really mastered well. I don't know. Crazy. I have written down here, the spatial cues of this speaker is nonsensical. That's how good it is. Completely blown away. So obviously we're going to have to do a lot more deeper dive comparisons with other speakers, put them on a bunch of different amps, but I got them in and I listened to them and I was so impressed that I had to make a video about them today to tell you that if you're at all interested, buy them. Return them if you don't like them, because I have a feeling that this is going to sell out fairly quickly, and it's probably gonna take a while for these to restock. Really impressed. Really impressed. Now, it could be because I just haven't listened to an Emotiva speaker for a while. They could sound exactly like the B2 Plus. I don't think they're going to, though. I think they're gonna have more controlled articulate bass, especially if I'm looking at the specifications and we have one rolling off at 55, one rolling off, the previous generation rolling off at 40. If those are at all accurate numbers, then I think we're going to have a significantly different sounding speaker on the mid-range and bottom end compared to the previous generation. Some people thought that the B2 Plus was a little bit less detailed in the mid-range than the B1 Plus, which this is the previous generation. I would have a tendency to agree with that, but I didn't mind. I like a little bit more warmth in the mid-range. But I am really impressed with what I hear on these new Emotivas. In Europe, I think you can get these speakers right now too. Anyway, that's gonna be about it. I appreciate you watching. If you got any value out of this, give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to. Check out my links in the description. Those will be affiliate links. So I'm an affiliate with Emotiva, which means if you click and you buy, I get a bit of a commission, but it doesn't cost you any more. So it's a great way to support the channel.